All right, tough day. Unbelievably important person in our program unfortunately passed away this morning, and very difficult. This day and age, he wanted to do everything he could to try to, his family, that our players wouldn't know until after the game. And got out, I found out about, 11 or 12, and we met with the kids and told them what was going on, and it hurt. It's a bittersweet win, without question. Kurt Hester was an unbelievably important person in our football program. I've been with him for a while. Best strength and conditioning coach I've ever been around, but more importantly, just a really, really fantastic role model for our student athletes. The guy came up on Thursday, just a couple days ago, and he knew his last time he was going to see the guys. And he really delivered a heck of a message to them. And, our thoughts and prayers are with their family and all. But, big win. I thought when we need to score offensively, we did a super job with it. Good drive there at the end of the first half. I thought our defense, we did a good job on some of their conversion downs of stopping them, getting some big plays. I thought we also did a pretty good job field position. They had some penalties on some returns that helped us. That last, punt, where they had to go 96 yards was big. So, a lot of good play from our guys.
Michael.
Questions?
Willie, if I could just start, just to go back, you said that the players found out after the game?
No, I told them we had a meeting at 1:30, pregame meal, and the word was kind of getting around, and I told them at that point in time, and we do a deal where we eat together, positionally, and the position coaches are there, and we just kind of sat and talked about Kurt Hester stories. There's a bunch of them. He's a rare individual, and I mean that in the best of ways. And we've all been affected by him in a positive manner, and so we did that for about a half hour, and so the guys, they knew what was going on.
Something like that can weigh so heavily with coming into the game. Did you feel like the emotion, you guys kind of bottled it up and kind of helped you a lot?
I think a little bit. I told the guys, I said, I was lowered and, whale crap, and I told them right before we came out, I said, if Coach Hester saw the way I was acting right now, he'd call me the biggest wuss in the history of mankind and get after my butt. And, I'm going to coach my tail off today. I want you guys to play your tail off. Let's honor them, out there today. And I thought our guys did that. I'm sure he didn't like the last few minutes. He's probably saying, God dang it, let's get a stop, let's get out of here. But, yeah. Anybody else got anything?
What about like you said, getting out to the lead, being able to have some room there? How did you feel like things?
I think that was big. First drive, unfortunately, we got a penalty and we got a field goal instead of a touchdown. We talk all the time about 4 points plays, touchdowns instead of field goals. We scored to get it up 10, and then came back and had a big play there to get it up 17-zip to go in at halftime. I thought Connor Wigman really, really played well. Running the ball. I guess he had 111 yards rushing. I see right here, and threw the ball well. Had over 200 yards passing. They're a good football team. So it was a big victory to come on the road and beat the defending Big 12 champions.
Well, I was going to say you got a pretty good chance to be ranked for the first time since 2022, and that was the first road win over a ranked team since 2017. What's this kind of say about the direction of the program and just what you guys are doing right now?
Well, it's all good. But I probably give the wrong answer. Our deal is the next game now. We'll review this game on Monday. We'll flush it down the toilet, and we're going to move on to our next opponent. And that's how you got to do it if you're going to be as good as you want to be. So we're proud of all those things occur, but we got a lot of football left to play.
What did Tanner show you today with overcoming that early drop to?
Well, he's a stud, man. He made 2 or 3 really, really difficult catches. And, Connor Wigman's not scared to throw it up to him because he knows he's going to come down with it. So, a bunch of guys made big plays. I thought Amari made a couple big plays. Hey, DJ Butler came in there and had there's 3 yards to get, and he was getting 5 or 6 each time that he ran the ball. We had some big PIs, which I thought were PIs. The guys did a good job of competing for the ball. So yeah, a lot of guys came up with big plays.
What do you tell your guys in a contentious situation like when the fans were throwing the stuff on the field in the third quarter? How do you kind of keep them level-headed through that?
Well, it's just it's disappointing, but you just got to keep going. You just got to keep playing, and I believe all that is done through the Big 12 office, correct?
Yes.
And so there's nothing the officials can do when all that occurs. So so you just got to keep playing.